necessarily. You can put up, for example, because of your location and your range, because I would love to put up a directional antenna from my house. I live at Queen Creek and Ellsworth Road, and we talked about usury. Okay, with us being out here,
We're at power and ground.
right? So I'm sitting there going, hey, how far can we go north in finding somebody else? Because there actually is a map that guys, I'm going to reboot this, and that way I can demonstrate this to you. What there is there's a Google map through this that you can post where you're at. Everybody posts where you're at. All of a sudden you're sitting there going, oh wow, I don't have to worry about getting to power and ground anymore because there's somebody at Guadalupe in power. And once again, with it being self-forming, all I need to do is know her call sign, and I can go out and actually do searching to find her, or I can literally, once DNS is running, I can go into that and just type in her name and find her right away. It's not a big deal.
So ideally, putting your directional on a rotor would be a good idea for...
That would be a great idea. There's a lot of people, what they do is, and you'll see this, they'll put 2 units up, basically 2 directions. The point.
So they're...
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Now, as we're waiting for this, I want to show you a few more things, hardware-wise.
All right, I'm connected, but I cannot get back to where we were.
Okay. On the bottom of these,
On that page.
Oh, he's off now.
specifically
I
this
don't know.
I haven't been able to get on.
you'll notice it looks just like a Cat 5 plug. Okay? And that is what it is. Except these units run on what they call, it's another acronym, we computer people just love acronyms. PoE. And that stands for Power over Ethernet. So what it does is, most people don't realize this, that your computer cable that has 8 wires in it, the computer only uses 4. The 8-wire computer cable is old technology. Back when they were first talking about speeds of up to 100 meg, they were thinking about using a different configuration. They realized they didn't need to do that. But they did change the wire. So all your Cat 5 patch cables have 8 wires in it, but it only uses 4. Power over Ethernet uses those other 4. So now, this unit, out of the box, comes with this injector that basically you run just like here. There's a Cat 5 cable that runs to this, and then a Cat 5 cable that runs to this to the switch to hook up to the rest of the equipment. That's it. So now, when you're mounting this on the outside of your house, you're not worried about a piece of coax. Gee, do I get RG8? Do I get RG213? Hey, maybe some hardline. Man, I have no luck putting end connectors on. Screw all that. Go buy yourself a 100-foot piece of, a 100-foot patch cable. As long as it's not in the sun, just because, the PVC deteriorates. So, you now power this up, it's up and running. So, you're going to be one of these people like Dennis. Dennis loves his go box.
Dave loves his go box.
I was going to say, you haven't seen Dave's go box, have you?
That fixes your problem.
Okay.
That is
12 volt.
a 12-volt input, 24-volt output, basically what they call a power over Ethernet injector.
Sweet.
So what you're saying is I wasted $5,000 on that go box.
I would never say that. I would never say that. What I'm saying is, you can now add. I'm just now saying your biggest problem with your go box is the box is too small. Because you can add mesh to it now. And there's your power supply for it. If you just redesigned it.
And I just finished redesigning it. Now I've got to do it all over again.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I'm the one, and I'll admit, because a couple of people here heard it, who said I was gonna be bored tonight. I am not bored.
Good.
So I'm with you on the mesh thing. I got it. What I'm
Good,
not
thank you.
understanding is, okay, once we get into the mesh network and we're all in, if everyone doesn't understand what software to play in, we're not gonna be able to talk.
Well,
That's, I guess,
that
what I'm
is
not
true.
understanding.
And that is true. But the thing here is, and what I'm trying to do tonight, by the way, I'm showing this to you intentionally. I'm typing the Hamnet in my Google search, just because I don't want to type in that whole name. My purpose of tonight was basically a proof of concept. Look at what we can do with relatively little. Now, if Dennis puts up an antenna, and I put up an antenna, and Jay put up an antenna, and we're the only ones, now, what good is it? It looks good. Every house needs another antenna. HOA might not be happy, but they'll suck it up. But if we get, for example, the city buy-in, and we start putting up these nodes, and a node can be something as simple as, I'm not going to use it, but I'm going to mount it on a light pole because I need a relay point. It's self-healing. And then all of a sudden we're covering the entire town. We then step forward with, okay, what if we added to our go bags one of these that we strap onto a pole, and we start giving our emergency responders another tool to use. And we don't have to use all the place yet.
Okay, now, in addition to the antenna, the ubiquity, Hoodamus bullet thing,
Yeah.
the power supply, and some Cat5 cable, what else do you need at your home or wherever to hook this thing up?
Computer.
A computer?
Well, not actually, if you're
Actually,
just
no,
hooking
yeah.
it up as a relay point for other people, that's all you need.
Okay, so that would be, if I want to just put it up just as a relay, then that's all I need.
That's it, right there. By the way, Amazon.com. There's two different kinds of these. The bullets, I like the metal casing. I think they'll last longer in the sun. This is $100. The antenna, it's a pretty cheap antenna. It's like $40. That 12-volt injector, by the way, this comes with the 110 volt injector. So you don't even need to buy that, only if you're going to 12 volt. That was $37. So it's not very expensive. Now, if you want to connect the computer up to it and play, like I think we all want to, well, this is a 3-com switch that's off the shelf. You guys recognize these. These are the cheapest ones you can find out there almost. What are they, $27, something like that, at most. Probably another couple of Cat5 patch cables. You're on.
Is the laundry list on that website?
Pardon me?
Is the laundry list for this on that website?
If you wanted to play with these at the rim, $5. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And go to motorhome to campsite. We could do it for $5. One of these is all we need. Because we're not talking a huge distance. Because we're
Right.
talking to mine that's out in the parking lot right now, through walls and everything else. If we're talking about going through town and going over neighborhoods and going over developments, that's where we're talking about a big outdoor antenna.
So let's show this website now that I've got this back up. First of all, we're going to go to the supported hardware. It shows you right here, hey, here are the Linksys devices. They even call it this the easiest way, to do this. Here is the Ubiquity devices. It shows you what make model right there. Not a big deal. It even gives you a link here, a hardware guide that lays it out where you can print the thing. So that way, if you're looking at Linksys stuff, you don't actually have to carry your iPad or your laptop with you. You can print this out and just take it with you. Go back here to support hardware. We'll go back to the home page. Mesh network diagram, really kind of cool. This gives you some examples. Now, this is in Austin, if memory serves me correctly. Okay, once again, these are all, they actually set it up with all Windows routers. And you'll see, once again, it's self-forming. So if this guy is trying to talk to this guy, and this guy goes dead, it just finds another route. It's all self-forming, self-learning, self-correcting, self-healing. Just gives you some ideas. Let's go back here again. All right. Firmware installation instructions. You'll notice it's going to say, what kind of router are you using? Which one do you select? And it gives you literally step by step. And it even gives you the most important step right here. Do not skip this. And it's the easiest one. And that's the one where you have to go in using, it even tells you what the password and name is right here. And right there. And that's where you have to put in your password and you have to put in your call sign, what you're going to call it.
And that firmware embeds that onto that unit?
Yeah, and let's look at that again. Can't do it with that laptop.
I have a quick question too.
Yeah.
If we're running other routers in our premises, I understand this only works in order to stay within the amateur band channels 1 through 6.
Yes.
If I'm on, let's say, channel 2, do I have to choose a different channel so I don't have a collision with this?
Ideally, unless you hard-coded your routers to say, change it from the auto select, and you hard-coded it to number 2, I would recommend you change it.
And does this embed a MAC, or does it use the original MAC address that was in the router?
It does use the original MAC, but you never see that because the important part here is, let me go and quit this, and let me go into setup. Ruts, N7 LZD.
Switch your display as well.
All right, as I'm logging in, let me get actually back to that page for a second, node status. You'll see right here, there is the MAC addresses, MACs at decimal form, okay? You'll also see here is your IP addresses. It assigns all that automatically. You don't have to figure this out. Oh, sorry, I changed laptops, thanks.
Yes, it is.
Thanks for pointing that out. I'm sitting here going crazy. Okay, so let me go to setup just to show you. You're going to see this page and go, oh my God, what the hell do I need to put in there? Nothing. You don't have to do it. It assigns all this for you. All you have to do is put in your no name and change your password. That's all you have to do. Now, as a user for yourself, your equipment located locally is here. And we'll talk more about this later when we start growing. But this here, this pull down, gives you the ability of how many IP addresses do you need. And you can select 1, 5, or 13. And it does all the assignment by looking to the outside world to be sure there's no conflict. The majority of you, I would just leave it at 5. It defaults to 5, just leave it at 5. Now, if you ask me how, considering the number of people here, and you're connecting through this, there's more than 5. I know that. I compensate for that right here. This is another off-the-shelf equipment we're not going to talk about. I can handle up to 200 people. But it still only uses one IP address.
Does this conflict with other mesh networks in the area?
No. Let me show you why. First of all, if there is other mesh networks in the area, let me go back over to node status. Oh, let me stay right here. This is the best part. You'll notice here the channel assignment, it defaults there, shows you the frequency. Your SID. You don't change that. If you're dealing with mesh, you don't change that. If you change that SID, SSID, ID, if you change that, you won't be able to connect to anybody else.
Unless they have the same.
unless they have the same exact setup.
Right. So you can make a private network by
You could.
grading.
You absolutely could.
All right.
You absolutely could. But with that in mind, I'll be honest with you guys. All I did was change my node name, put in the password I want, and click save.
Well, we want the whole world to have that as this
Yeah.
said there, because we want the world to be all meshed together.
Right. And then, of course, port forwarding. Let me talk about this. People get really afraid when they see this page. Unless you're actually going to stand up equipment like I did, with a server and an IP camera and VoIP devices, you don't need to put anything in there. Okay? And the only reason I put it in there is to avoid potential conflicts and also allow other people to see that I've got this equipment out there. But that's it. I mean, it's just that darn simple. Let's talk about SID. This is, when we talk about the SSID, and I know I got a little technical, this is what I'm talking about. And you'll notice there is the Broadband Hamnet 20-V3, which is what these default to. But you'll notice it has a little different icon. Okay? That is called an ad hoc. It will not let your laptop connect to a mesh network directly. The way they control amateur radio-wise, it has to be another device that runs the firmware of mesh, and it has to use the same ID. So even though I can see it, because this is not an Apple device, I could click on this all day long and it will not let me connect it. Because remember, we still, as Fred knows, we still have to go study or take that test, and we still have to follow the FCC rules, Part 97. This firmware helps us do that. This is not to be used for work, because obviously it's gonna, this is not commercial, this is ham. There is stuff you can put in there where I can block any encrypted traffic. I kind of go, okay, I don't have that problem yet. Yeah.
I've always had a phobia about having IP cameras that
Yeah.
utilize the internet, and that somebody could hack into it. By going this route, I can have a completely unified private network and pipe the IP cameras into this, have it in my local vicinity, so if we had a security team that needed to observe those cameras, it would never be able to be breached by an outsider.
Well, you don't even have to go that route. If you're worried about that, just set up your own network and don't connect to the internet.
Right. That's true. Okay. But for distance,
But
having
for
the
distance,
mesh.
because you're an amateur radio, you
Right.
can use mesh. Yes.
Nice.
I hope I didn't bore you.
Mm-mm.
I have a few faces out there that are going, what am I getting into? But what I was trying to show you tonight is how you can use your off-the-shelf equipment. Yeah.
So what is it you cannot do with this? I see you've got phones set up here, cameras set up here, you've got this little network thing going on here, the world's going to hell in a handbasket, somebody pushed a button and half the United States is blown up.
Yeah.
You can't
Except
do
where on board is we still have an internet connection.
Yeah, you
Could this
Yeah,
one
mine is
play
not
into
my
that
half, it's
potential
okay.
internet?
Well, and that's where we could, one of the things that is possible here is there is a way where we can connect the internet up to this network. So that way, even though we're using mesh, we could then use our mesh network to get to the internet. That is where we have to be real careful. Because there's a lot of content out on the internet, Playboy.com as an example, that
Well, they just report news.
It's not
Well-
not ham friendly.
that's not ham friendly, let's put it that way.
So that would be an option that you would want to have under your control as the control.
Absolutely.
Right. But
Absolutely.
it's possible.
Yes. Now, the other thing you have to remember, this is amateur radio. So it's not like you can set up a mesh network at your neighbor's house and talk to your house. Well, if they're hams, great. But, otherwise you're putting your call sign in, which means you're responsible for that transmission.
It would be a remote, correct?
Well, and it would be a remote, but once again, you're
Under
gonna
my
let
ID.
non-ham people use the network, you're the one responsible.
No, I just use their electricity in their house. For
We'll put your call sign in.
KF7RYX is the one I'm going to be using.
That's one.
But what I was trying to do tonight, like I said, this is more of a proof of concept to show you what we can do and what we can bring to the town. That I think it would be an excellent tool, because especially if you get into a law emergency, you have to remember, you know, I showed you the video at the beginning when they talk about, and by the way, I would love to have an opportunity, if you wanted to, scare the hell out of you, to go over in what we call the military information assurance, computer security. There's another part of that, NOAA, that shows them, or basically they put this, they ordered this generator, they built this pad, and then they challenged computer people to take it offline.
They blew it up.
They blew it up. They didn't take it offline. They destroyed it with 2 packets of data and made it bounce off the ground. You saw the video.
I saw it, yeah.
And made it bounce
Literally
off the
broke.
ground. And when they opened it up, they found not only was the electronics fried, but the mechanics, the bearings, everything was shot.
Yeah.
Between Stuxnet and
Oh.
that was well, an eye-opener.
But I could spend hours if not days.
So you're saying our power grid is safe, don't worry about it?
See, this is a perfect example. Let's talk about Verizon, okay? Let's talk about Verizon, we know this. Verizon cell sites have backup power. For how long?
Till the tank goes dry.
Till the tank goes dry.
Until the truck.
4 to 12 hours, depending upon the size of the tank.
Size of the tank.
Okay? You're talking about a lot of the power outages can last days. Okay? So even if right after the emergency, and you'll see where I'm going with this, and I don't want to scare you, but right after the emergency, you're going to go, wow. we've
No,
got
you're not scaring me, I'm just getting giddy over it.
You're
Okay.
talking to most of the,
Now.
half the group that belongs to all
Dennis wants to
too.
use the stuff that he's accumulated.
Now, let's talk about who we're working for. We heard the siren. Let's talk about what's in that fire truck. A lot of the stuff in that fire truck is basically using cell power. Yet alone, we've all had, I think Fred, you and I had that conversation about waiting for P25 to crash. You know, the communications form that of course, with, what is it, RWC? I'm trying to remember all those acronyms. That a lot of that stuff is going to fail. We have a power outage. Their communications, where all their neat electronics, where they're logging in and seeing the maps and all that stuff, well, that's all going to die when Verizon goes down.
Yep.
Okay, we just talked about the size of the tank. You know, this is something that, you know, we have to be self-sustaining. And I know that kind of like goes in with the prepping idea, but when it comes to communications,
In 2004 in Florida, they had to bring generators in for the cell towers, but then they couldn't get the gas trucks in to fill the tanks of the emergency generators. So cell towers were worthless.
Realistically, Omni antenna, what kind of proximities between mesh units are realistic? I mean, in real
you know,
world.
I've never, that one I can't answer and I won't even try to guess.
A full-blown setup, how many amps?
We'd have to add these up, but we're looking.
Solar capable, solar capable.
Yeah, we're talking solar capable, when you're talking about, the POE is 0.75, you know.
So under an amp each,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So solar's running.
right.
yeah, solar's right for this.
Solar would run it. Your biggest problem is having to run overnight.
Bigger battery.
Few
Yeah.
batteries.
Too bad.
See Dennis.
Bigger battery, bigger So you can see so much of this is such low power as well.
I only have 2,000 amps.
Only.
Yeah, I'm about that. That's all.
That's basically where Dennis, that's where I'd like to, unless you got something, I'd like you to come up and take a look at it, pick this stuff up, look at it.
What I would like is for you to show me how to get this thing to connect now that I believe I'm connected.
Sure.
I got the address typed, and that's where I am.
Okay. The first thing I'm going to do
I'm still not clear on this.
Hold on.
is,
I'm still not clear on, okay, so we're all logged in, and then someone, if I'm guessing, someone has to make the decision to be the office manager, or to be the software manager, because we can all log in, but we gotta log into something.
right. And that's something that we need to talk to Joe
LaFortune.
LaFortune, thank
Right.
you.
See the notice signer?
He is the guy that we work for.
He's the city
The city guy.
emergency.
Yeah.
management.
Okay. Are you looking at potentially getting this integrated for
Yes.
the city?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
How much reach do you need with this? I mean,
The whole town.
if I was set
Yeah,
up
we just-
where I could be
yeah.
bounced, that would be
Yeah.
helpful or not?
Oh, yeah.
I have 6 of these Linksys sitting home on a shelf.
I just found,
I don't know how many he has, we have to go digging.
I've got a bushel bag of WRT 54G
Kelly.
version 3s.
Greetings, Doug.
But they were talking about.
I heard him on the radio, no one was answering, so he called. I heard him, somebody has the radio on.
Right there.
Oh, we're still here, so it's on the way.
Firmware one,
Too slow.
seeing what I can do with it.
He's a crap, I know you got tools.
Easy to brick these things, or?
Well, get dinner and then you can
Yes.
swing by and see if we're here. We're still here for now. Probably will be for a while.
Follow
yeah, so-
instructions carefully.
Yeah,
So someone has to
Yeah, we'll be here.
decide
Go
to
get, go get
be
dinner and come on
No,
over.
you, everybody.
the base.
Each amateur radio operator embeds his own call sign into it.
Right,
Okay,
but
will do.
someone has to
All right.
decide what the software
You
base
need
is.
I'll get back to you, Dennis.
Yeah,
What you're thinking about is, someone needs to be the base to stand up the server, to stand up all of this.
no, not even that. Okay, so you logged into this node, we're
Well-
not on the internet, so what software are we now using? I know-
And-
We all gotta be able to,
Stay away from the software a second, let's talk about need. What are you trying to do? An example,
Messages.
let's say you're doing messaging. You can do anything from, if you're doing messages, you could use FL message.
okay, yep.
And
Is that,
yep.
what did you use for this? What is that?
Have enough resources without.
That's actually Microsoft Small Business Server.
Yep, that's Outlook. Yeah, I
Okay?
recognize that.
That's Microsoft Small Business Server
Small
that's sitting
Business
over there.
Okay.
But you can stand up and build a small server with messaging capabilities, if that's what you're trying to do. You can send messages numerous different ways, everything from just setting up.
So it's what, 600?
Will that do attachments and everything? Like we did? That's what you did with the?
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of?
Now, you could also do something as simple as
Well, that's fine.
this. This has got a hard drive in it. So you build files, photos, messages and text files,
And serve it with
and
this?
save it up there for them to go get.
Okay.
Just gives
And
us-
you just use the router capable hard drive that feeds it
Yeah,
to?
Well, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the user on the other end being able
Or if
to
everybody-
understand what to do to get to the
Well, there's
information.
gonna have to be some training.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
There's
The
gonna have
easier-
to be some training.
Yeah, and the easier the program you use, of course, the better.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the issue here is, for this, in my opinion,
51.
in an emergency environment, using something like Office, Outlook
familiar.
Web Access,
200.
and a small Exchange server, basically says, well, everybody uses an OWA, of some kind. Whether it's Gmail or whatever. Now, the other thing is, with not much more work, we can set it up where I can give you the settings to say, go in, you have Microsoft Outlook.
Mhm.
Here are the settings. You can now use Outlook and talk to the server through Mesh. You wouldn't even need to do that,
Right.
okay?
I love
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
all many, so
live
many
in Outlook.
different things. Now, the reason I
I
made
hate it.
this
I live
route
there.
is to demonstrate to you that, like, we had the problem with FL-Digi and FL-Message where that won't install or run on an Apple device. Well, if you keep it web accessible, now you'll notice the iPads could connect to it.
Could connect, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Two questions bouncing off Michelle here.
Yeah.
Is there a standard that everybody looks to for control of this?
No.
No,
Okay,
see,
well,
that's,
that-
yeah.
And then number two, you're running Microsoft stuff. What about Linux?
Well, and that's it. If-
Proliferation of a Raspberry Pi.
Right. If you look at,
To this.
oh, I have to switch
Not
back.
necessarily.
There's guys pushing the envelope
Yeah.
on this every day. They're
Yeah.
hooking up
If you-
ties to flash hard drives and running servers off of that, stuck to the back of one of these behind a parabolic dish on a roof of a hospital. And they've got a server with a parabolic dish covering 5 miles worth of data stream. Meaning
If
that
you go
every day it's
to
changing.
that Broadband Hamnet website, I showed you the top, you go down to the bottom, because if you're running Linux, use this. Yeah. The thing here is, you can connect
You have that other thing.
to the mesh network using whatever.
Where you go from-
Tonight, we showed you where we connected with an Android device. We connected with Microsoft Windows. We had, a couple different versions. What's running on your Vio?
On the Vine, I'm running Windows, or this is Windows 10.
Yeah, okay. We showed you numerous ways of just connecting mesh. It works with whatever OS. What really your limitation is going to be is, what services do you want to provide on your mesh network?
Right.
You have
Okay?
a 50 watt.
In this scenario I did tonight, I tried to keep everything web accessible.
Right.
So that way, you could use Chrome. Well, you notice when you log into the camera, it gave you the option. If you're using Chrome, click here. If you're using, an iPad, click down here. Whatever.
I just want to throw more stuff in there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Channel. You need
It won't hold much more.
You need to go try.
a front band repeat.
So Dennis could put a Raspberry Pi server in his Go box and literally have the log files on that server. So when we're all together at field day or anywhere else connected via mesh, every time we log a contact, it logs on his server, on his Raspberry Pi in his Go box. And it doesn't save when you're looking.
Okay, so let's take it to my geeky way that I'm doing, that I've learned a lot at Russ. I have everything mounted in my truck, and I just remote from my truck.
Gotta make sure the battery.
Well, why can't I just leave all the mesh stuff in the truck?
Diesels have two.
And with the wireless access point, because I'm gonna be within walking distance of the truck, I have complete access.
And it's all set up, ready, waiting, and fully charged because you drove there.
Yeah,
I like that.
With a separate battery.
with a separate battery
Battery, right.
that I have
With
learned.
an isolator on
Oh,
it.
I remember that, over at the park.
Yeah. But that's why, hey guys, this is why we do Rush. It's to go out and go, well, this concept really sounds good, and then you go out and you do it as part of Russ, and you go,
They only got a pair of jumper cables, I'm dead over here.
that didn't work out real well. I mean, and that's what Russ is about. It's you try different things. And we took care of the battery. Well, then I noticed that the stuff that I was using to remote basically would only handle USB 1. Well, in order for me to remote my FT897, it needed USB 2 because of the amount of stuff it was passing. Okay, those adapters didn't work real well. Let me buy better. This is why we do Rust. This is why you play.
Now, like I said earlier, there has never been a Russ or radios in the park that I haven't learned something. And it's better to learn it there than it is in the middle of an emergency.
Theoretically, could we pump wires X into this? Theoretically, could we pump fusion wires X into this and utilize?
It doesn't work.
Why?
Don't ignore him. Just ignore anything
No,
he
and
says.
I am serious.
When
Why?
wires works, you can do that.
Okay, let me, Dave will.
I never have a problem with wires. I don't know why everybody's having trouble.
Too many Daves around here.
I know.
They make a device from remoterig.com that for some devices, and specifically it's the Yaesu 857, where it has a detachable faceplate. Okay, it has a detachable faceplate, and you put this pair of pieces of equipment in between. And this part connects to the internet, and this part connects to a Wi-Fi, and because it has a detachable faceplate, that's where the speaker and that's where the microphone plugs into. So now you can take this, in theory, the reason they did this is, you live in an HOA, but you have a cabin. You put your antenna, you put the radio, you put all that stuff up in the cabin, you use the internet and remote down to your house in your HOA, and now I'm sitting there, talking on the radio and having a great time. Well, that's just IP. If it works across the internet, it'll work across mesh. So saying that, I know, I'm not real thrilled about the Fusion either because I don't understand it, but it's a toy and we love it. Have
It
you run
works
Fusion
real good.
across it? Absolutely.
To remote rig makes some, they call them four-wire audio with the
Right.
LAN, which is basically push talk. You could theoretically put two repeaters
Yeah.
running through mesh and they're linked to each other and just fine.
I like
There's
that.
also some Raytheon JPS, Calvanic shoes do the same thing. They're more pricey.
Although your VoIP is really just a better shortcut to,
Well, the reason I like these is specifically, you print out a sheet of paper with the phone numbers and you hand somebody a phone. At this day and age, they probably know how to use the phone.
Right.
Give them the phone number. Now, they don't have to, well, I need to click here, click there,
idiot
click
proof.
there.
Yeah. Right. Especially in an emergency.
I'm trying to stay away from the word idiot because idiot technically is a particular word under EEO, but you can call them stupid.
A 13-year-old or a 93-year-old can dial a phone.
Right.
No training.
And so when somebody's in the middle and they need to talk to somebody, they pick it up and they dial, in that case, 801. These devices, I could actually hook up two phones to it. Now, they make another device, and I have one of those at my house, where you can connect phone lines up to it. It's FXO instead of FXS. And so in theory, if CenturyLink was still working, and you're talking across mesh, and you're going, I need to make an outside call, you call the number to this box, and it gives you dial tone, and then you start dialing the outside number.
Sweet.
What might be an application for around here is to get a line from the city of TBX.
Exactly.
And then the city people have remote access to all of their extensions.
Yes. Very good point. Excellent idea.
But that's on this particular mesh network. What if this is combined with guys in Phoenix or Payson or Nogales? If I hit 801 on that phone, who's going to answer?
Well, because that's connected to that.
What if they programmed an 801 phone is what he's asking.
Well, what's going to happen is if you go into the management tool, and I forget where I have that. Actually, I think I have a program here. It bills a phone book, but the number is actually tied to an IP address to a port. So even if they used 801 and they had the same equipment, if their phone book isn't going to, in this case, 10.3.165.243 port 1, so what?
So there's more
So you
than,
can- I'm sorry, you can isolate it by the port.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
IP address and port.
We're basically 1995 remaking the internet is what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's the wild west of the internet. So if folks at Payson are doing it and we're doing it, it'd be really good for the two of us to talk and say, hey,
Right.
what are you doing down there? So we can make sure we're not going to conflict and we can work together on this. As opposed to being beta and VHS and fighting each other the whole
Is
time.
that more know about this?
I was going to try to avoid saying that.
They admitted it.
You saw me smile.
Who?
Yeah.
You heard of him lately.
But, I mean, this is showing you that we've gotten to the point where we've gotten so complicated and so technical that we have so many points of failure that we rely on this stuff to where now we can take the best of it and we can build a non-internet, what they call intranet. And what we have to do is talk to Joe. We need to, hey, you know, we've got, what is it, 13 of those boxes that we can mount on the streetlights?
If not more, yeah.
If not more. I've got that one at my house. You can see, if you look at my black truck out there, there's a little curly antenna. That's actually a mesh antenna I've got in the truck. We can have fun. And when the rest of the world goes dark,
We'll be in
yeah,
the light.
and what's your problem?
Right. Oh, this is great. How long has this been popular? 2010 or so?
Mesh has been around since what, 2009 is when I think when it started?
Yeah, I think around that.
Yeah.
But before it was really big doing antenna shootouts. Guys would, especially in California, would take their wireless cards that you used to put in the laptop, the old
Yeah.
PCMCIA cards, hack antenna ports on them, and make cans out of Pringles cans or soup cans.
Yeah.
And they do these wireless antenna shootouts to see how far across a park they could get, who would have the strongest signal.
Nice.
And then folks realized, well, if I can reach there, can I put someone there and have him talk to there and extend the network out and start developing the grassroots method that way?
This is great.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Brad,
I
you
tried
haven't met Dave for too long. You do realize that at one point he worked for Microsoft. That
No, I
you've
understand. He
you've
worked for people I
unleashed,
hired, yeah.
yeah, you've unleashed a
She won't shut
monster.
up.
You've unleashed a monster here. I'm
That's
sitting
why
here
most
going,
people don't know what I did in the
oh,
military.
we just gave Dave more stuff to play with.
See, one of the things that the town, I don't even think they know is available to them. If they contact the Arizona Department of Emergency Services, actually it's Emergency Management, ADM. One of the assets they have access to is through the military. It's called a GISC. And I was telling you about the trailer. Literally comes with 12 people and this trailer. Here's what's in the trailer. It comes with an insulated tent with heating and air conditioning, with the floor, chairs, and tables. Okay? That's the housekeeping stuff. Then it comes with a 1.2 meter satellite dish that connects up to the NOC in Maryland. So they turn us on. Once that's up, that gives us complete access to not only the military network, but what they call NIPRNet with the internet as well. It comes with servers, it comes with laptops, it comes with, all this stuff comes with this trailer, to include 42 VoIP phones. 21 of them are connected to the military defense switching network, the other 21 are connected to the outside world. And it's literally a matter of, I'm having an emergency, send me the GISC. And the state pays for it, and here it comes forward.
That's it. My Hallmark trailer is going to be my new toolbox.
Oh, yeah. To include, and it also includes a UHF repeater that's coordinated on a UHF frequency.